Hello everyone, this is Richard. Welcome to Starfield Essentials! We start today's video with the November 5th Steam Beta, including Annihilator effects on companions, Trackers Alliance bounty testing, and companion talk fixed. In more news, Fleet Commander enables multi-ship combat, sit, wait, or dance after taking the party ship, fixing the Denis Averin Refurbished goods quest, Starfield Engine Fixes tweak for overlapping dialogue, and finally, in game management news, testing the Linux mod manager Limo, loot updated, Steam API will permit in-game version management, Steam gameplay recording, and a TOEFL 9000 speedrun record. Let's start with the beta. On November 5th, Bethesda released Starfield version 1.14.74. This beta is only available to Steam players who opt into receiving the beta version. I tested this beta on one of my Starfield on Steam on Linux installations. As we can see from the patch notes, this beta addresses concerns in the base game and in the Shattered Space DLC. For my testing of the beta, I focused on three main sets of issues which I had encountered in previous gameplay. First, the notes say, the Annihilator particle beam damage over time effect no longer triggers companion reactions. In my game, I like using the Averin Inflictor with Annihilator rounds for hard-hitting close combat engagements. Unfortunately, using this weapon when companions are nearby can have undesirable effects. As you can see in this clip, I use the Averin Inflictor to take down an enemy. When my companions run into the combat area, they take damage, leave me, and get angry with me. With the beta in this test scenario, I use another Averin Inflictor with Annihilator rounds. Sarah is my companion, and she is not bothered. Thank you for fixing this, Bethesda. Second, let's test this patch note item. Trackers Alliance. Roach will now accurately track the number of completed bounties. Here you can see my character is visiting Roach, and Roach recognizes that my character has completed 12 bounties. I head down to the basement of the Trackers Alliance and visit the mission board. I pick up 2 missions. After completing one mission, Roach has increased my count to 13. I'm not sure what number will beat Roach, or at least force him to change his commentary. Here's another fix to the bounty system. Trackers Alliance. Bounty targets should now have a larger variety of appearances. To test this, I headed to Neon to look for random targets, and found Victor Mercier, a Xenofresh worker wanted dead for theft and running an Ashta fighting ring. His appearance is not the typical male or female seen in previous encounters. He's also wearing different clothes. I also found Willow Reynolds, another Xenofresh worker wanted for a variety of offenses. She was wanted alive, and she also had a different physical appearance and clothing. Now, the patch notes mention this change. Trackers Alliance. Bounty targets will now be removed after being dealt with and leaving the area. I'm not sure how this is supposed to work. I had hoped that security officials would remove the captured bounty while I was watching, but perhaps that now happens after I leave the cell. In any case, the bounties remained in place, sometimes with an officer standing right next to them. After finding these 2 bounties on Neon, Roach now sees that I have completed 15 in total. I was able to test 2 other changes in the beta, namely, bounty targets will now appear in Aquila, Gagarin, and Cydonia, and extorting or bribing a bounty target is no longer a guaranteed success. Although I did not find bounties in Aquila City during my test, I did have success in Cydonia. Here I discovered 2 bounties. I didn't have to fire a shot. Sarah took care of everything. I also happened to find a few dozen mission specialists enjoying the Broken Spear bar. Definitely appreciate that Bethesda has changed the appearance of NPC bounties. Previously, you could see them from afar and know immediately that they were someone you were looking for. Here's a good example. Josephine here doesn't look like any of the other bounties. She's wearing different clothes. And I think this is a nice move by Bethesda to finally fix this. So here's another example of capturing the bounty. She goes peacefully. There's an officer nearby, and nothing happens. So that would be the next change I would like to see. Is I'd prefer to see the bounties picked up in real time, or I'll just send them to my ship with mods. I discovered a bounty at Gagarin Landing too. I tried the option to extort the target, but it didn't work. So here we have another nice example of a different appearance, and we have Sarah taking down the bounty. I didn't do anything. I didn't even have a weapon equipped. So thank you, Sarah, for taking care of that. So let's talk about some of the problems I've been having with bounties. This is both with the beta and non-beta. So this is a bounty on Alchiba 8A. The job here is to confront Pirate Legend. And this character is a pirate, so that might play a role, but I've had issues with all sorts of other characters as well. So I draw my EM weapon, I take a shot, one-shot this guy, nothing happens. I try firing a few more times, nothing happens. I end up trying a regular weapon to revive him, blast him again with the EM weapon, nothing happens. Finally, I tried just shooting him, and the mission fails to complete. Now let's try a different mission. This is Surma 6C. This is using the standard game as it's currently published. I have mods enabled, such as the non-lethal framework mod. I'm hitting the target with my EM weapon, and I'm able to take him down before he's able to fire his machine gun at me. And the mission did not complete. This is another confront mission. I was able to take down the target, and nothing happened. So I'm going to try, in this case, to send the target to the brig. I smack him, hit Y to send to brig, and you can see in the upper left-hand corner, the mission fails to complete. So I try another save, and in this case, I just blast away at him and see if that makes a difference. And once again, the mission fails to complete. So this is definitely frustrating. I have another example here to take a look at. Here we have a Archimedes 6B, a wanted criminal. I have to confront the Ecliptic commander. And in this case, I just shoot him, straight out shoot him. And this is on the beta. And in this case, the mission does successfully complete. So we're a little bit all over the map here. Let's try another one. This is a target who is wanted alive on Lantra. And this is using mods on the current game version. And I run up to the target. I'm able to stun him as I'm getting blasted, but I hit him a couple times with my EM weapon. I didn't even have to one-shot him, and the mission completes. So this is frustrating. Once the beta is released in its final form, I'll take another look. Right now, I can't seem to rely on the game mechanics. And once again, I send this guy to, to the brig. The final item from the beta that I'll discuss today affects players who like to max out social skills. The beta patch notes say, resolved a leadership skill issue that could cause companions to not speak up. My main character has a level 4 leadership skill, because I like to have the maximum number of companions on my ship. Thanks to this fix to the beta, Sarah had a lot to say to my character once I decided to talk with her. Andreja also had a lot to say in the beta. These are the post-mission discussions that you can have with companions, and I found that previously I wasn't always seeing these. Sometimes they would appear, sometimes they would not. So whatever change Bethesda made, they're reflected positively in my gameplay experience. On to mod news. I tried the new Fleet Commander creation by Korodic. This mod costs 300 credits, which is about $3 US. Once you add the mod to your game, you get a new fleet management terminal that you can deploy inside your ship. And as you can see here, I had some kind of issue. I think it might have been a mod conflict with ship management tools. The fleet management terminal only saw that I had 2 ships, although I have 3 in my inventory. As you can see, I have this Crimson Fleet Haunt 2 that is not recognized. The answer I decided to use for this problem was to sell any ship that I captured to the ship technician and then buy it back. So here's a Crimson Fleet Ghost that I had stolen, sold to the ship technician, and now I'm buying it back. And when I check my fleet management terminal, I now have both this Fleet Haunt 2 and a Fleet Ghost. Now the Frontier and the Haunt 2 are in my fleet. You can control up to 4 ships, but the problem is you have to have significantly high enough ship command skill, and currently my ship command rank is 2, which means I can only have 2 ships. Now once you go out into space, look at those beauties. There's that Crimson Fleet Haunt 2, there's the Frontier. They're flying along with me in formation. I just think this is the coolest thing, and I can't wait to have a higher ship command skill. Let's see how these guys do in battle. I'm just going to hang back. I'm not going to do anything. I'll take some fire, but I'm just going to sit and watch as my Frontier and my Haunt get in there. Can't see them yet, but there they go. This is the best. This should be in the vanilla game, don't you think? Look at those 2 ships going at it. They are controlled by AI, which is fine, right? They're programmed to do battle with enemies. So I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to watch as my two ships take care of this Crimson Fleet ship that's that's trying to take me down. But that ship is in plenty occupied now with those other two vessels. This is a mission that I have to accomplish: locate and destroy the Crimson Fleet haunt. And as you'll see, oh, okay, so one of my ships just blasted out of there. Did you see the grav drive jump? The mod as set up, if one of your ships in your fleet is about to get destroyed, it will grav jump away. So you don't have to worry about losing a ship in battle. You can change that, but I left it as the default. So here I have the Frontier, the mighty Frontier, taking care of the last issues, taking down the last shots at that Crimson Fleet ship. And a cool thing about this is, if the Frontier will succeed in the mission, I'll get credit for it. So there it goes. I get credit for the mission. Now, I don't get credit for the kill, I don't believe, but you can still use this to take care of missions you want to accomplish. So let's show how this works from end to end. Here I have boarded a Crimson Fleet Phantom, and I've taken down the crew. Now I'm going to add the ship by sitting. I have the SKK ship tools, so we'll say yes, add. Now, if I check the fleet management terminal, that Phantom is not listed. So what I have to do is go visit a ship technician. I'm going to sell him this Crimson Fleet Phantom 3, and then I'm going to buy that ship back. And the act of buying it back, while it does cost credits, and that's not the best, it does add the ship properly to my fleet. So now if I go back to my fleet management terminal, I take a look, and there's the Crimson Fleet Phantom 3 added to the bottom of the list. So a little bit of an inconvenience, but definitely worth it to have your ships flying with you into battle like that. While I was flying around with my ships, I encountered the party cruise. Skip ahead to the next section if you haven't encountered this in your game, if you want to avoid spoilers. But I boarded the party cruise, and I took a look around. It was just as I remembered it, that lovely purple glow. But the difference this time was I had the Sit and Dance mod installed. And so as a result of that, I was able to have my player show his moves with his jetpack on. Look at that. What a hero that guy is. Let's take a look at the rest of this ship in case you don't know what it looks like. This is going to matter when we make some modifications in a few minutes. So I started thinking, here's the party cruise ship. Wouldn't it be cool to add this ship to my fleet? Well, it's inaccessible, so what I had to do was use a console command to open the door, which, that's pretty easy. Let's open that door. Guy just standing there. Now, the next problem you have is this ship is rendered inoperable. You can fix this with another console command, call function, block activation, false, false, and entering that command will allow you to sit in the captain's chair, and once again, you can add this ship to your fleet. So now I have the party cruise ship. Let's check the fleet management terminal. Scroll down to the bottom, and there it is. Party cruise is one of my ships now. Well, the party cruise ship does not have any weapons by default, and that would not make for a great addition to my fleet if it can't fire on anyone. So I outfitted the party cruise ship with missile launchers, alpha beams, 2 different types, and turned it into quite the battle beast to go into the Starfield with my other ships. Take a look at that thing. It actually looks pretty cool. Looks a little bit like the Rocinante, kind of loosely, but not bad. So here we are. Once I got back onto the party cruise ship, though, there was no party. There were some party goers, but all the customizations were gone. Let's jump downstairs. Where's my DJ? Oh, my DJ's gone. The dancer doesn't have his special clothes on anymore. This is really disappointing. I was hoping to have the party theme cruise playing in the background while I was going into battle. But let's see, I think that's the DJ. Or maybe not the DJ, but another dancer. Oh well. Let's see how the party cruise ship, though, performs in battle. So I think I've got the Frontier as my other active ship right now. Look at that, leveling up. Not even doing anything, just watching as my other ships take... Oh no, I actually am active right now. I'm firing missiles. My heavily modified party cruise ship is a winner. Look at my other 2 ships in my fleet. So, well done, Korodic. Fleet Commander is just an awesome mod, and I highly recommend it. Let's talk about another mod that has brought some joy into my game. Several months ago, I published a video series on the Refurbished Goods quest offered by Denis, Averin, and Cydonia on Mars. When the game first launched, you could go to Denis, get a mission, and find the weapons he requested by completing the mission objectives. Upon returning to Denis with the weapon in hand, he would give you XP, credits, and equipment of some type. Bethesda later changed the way these missions worked. Upon completing the mission objective, you would not get all the weapons needed to make Denis happy. You could still complete his quest, but you'd have to scour the settled systems looking for whatever he wanted. Well, thanks to modder XTC Refugee and the Refurbished Goods quest fix, the game behaves again as it did at launch. The mod description says, the quest was adding the correct number of items to the container, but the container was being reset as the player arrived at the location, removing all but one. So here you can see I have found a science crate, and it has the items that Denis Averin was looking at. So this is great. I'm glad that these quests are working properly. And it turns out that the fix that Bethesda applied was not a fix at all. It actually broke it. So I guess my previous explanation needed once again to be augmented to reflect reality. So the modder XTC Refugee mentions that this mod ensures the correct number of items will be in the container at the location you're sent to, and changes some of the quest text to clarify that you should return to Denis when you have collected the required number of items. Remember, you can find Denis on Cydonia in the UC Exchange office. Let's conclude the modding section with another fix for a problem you might be encountering. I currently run the Starfield Engine Fixes mod by Laurent Kiar because it offers a lot of functionality that I use when testing mods. A comment by Redditor RiddleMist noted that there is a conflict between the Starfield Engine Fixes mod and the Starfield community patch that can cause overlapping companion dialogue. The fix is to edit the Starfield Engine's fixes.ini file and change the V-Engine Load Optimizer Actor Background Process Patches Compatibility Mode value from 0 to 1. I believe this has helped with my game, although I hadn't been too bothered by overlapping dialogue. On to game management news. This past week I tried using a mod manager with Linux for the first time. I don't play on Linux regularly, although I do use it to test Steam betas. I wanted to try a Linux native mod manager rather than getting Vortex or Mod Manager 2 to run with a compatibility layer like Wine or Proton. I gave the new Limo mod manager by Chris a try. It was easy enough to install on Linux Mint. I used the provided Flatpak and configured it according to the wiki. Now, I have had some issues with this mod manager because of the way submods are packaged, so I'll have more to say about that in a future video or probably on a community tab. Right now, if the mod is packaged such that it has a data directory that it is told to install to, everything works fine. Outside of that, it can be a little tricky and you might have to do things manually. So I'll keep my eye on this. Next, there's a new version of Loot out with some changes for Starfield. Loot is the load order optimization tool. The changelog for this tool notes, Starfield's shattered space.esm is now placed after old Mars.esm to match where it is hard-coded to load by the game. Remember, Loot is only as effective as its master list. And I expect to see the version that this new Loot is based on, libloot 0.24.5, eventually added to Vortex as well. Steam owner Valve has announced changes to its API to enable in-game version management. I quote, "With these new tools, developers can now offer players a choice in-game to join a beta branch for testing or to switch back to an older version of the game. This would be a boon to modders who play Starfield on Steam. Imagine being able to set a specific version of the game and not change it until you specifically want to. Currently, I have to set the .acf files used by Steam to read-only to prevent the game or creation kit from updating. Yes, I'm aware of tactics like only launching the game through a mod manager, and I follow these practices. However, choosing specific game versions would make everyone's life easier, as it would be a recognized aspect of playing Starfield. I sort of doubt Bethesda will add this to Starfield, but I hope we can bring it to the developers' attention. Also in Steam, we have a new in-game recording feature. I tested this system on Linux, and it worked pretty well. I've had varying success recording with OBS in Linux. Sometimes it works perfectly, and other times I've had some odd artifacts. The main limitation I see with the Steam version is that it saves the recording in a chunked M4S streaming format. If you want to work with it using an outside editor, you have to export the chunks to a single MP4 file. I don't see this replacing my OBS workflow on Windows, where I do most of my game recording, but I appreciate having this option, and I used it to record the bounty encounters in Cydonia and Gagarin Landing in this video. Finally, I joined my cat in congratulating Teufel 9000 on his world record speedrun. This is a Shattered Space final mission completion in 13 minutes 3 seconds, starting from New Game Plus. I like watching speedruns because they show exactly what is possible in this game. Teufel is able to complete, in air quotes, Shattered Space in about 13 minutes because he's able to break right through the Citadel to the final battle with Anasko Varun. He uses what is called a zip to reach parts of the cell that are not accessible via normal gameplay. Congratulations again to Teufel. One last note. Apologies for the statement in my last video concerning Bethesda Game Studios and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I've seen a lot of promotion for this game coming from Bethesda, but Bethesda Softworks is the publisher, not the developer. Machine Games is developing the new Indiana Jones title, so it should not affect Starfield, Fallout, or Elder Scrolls development. What have you been doing in Starfield? What do you think of these updates? Your insights make this channel a place for positive and honest discussion of Starfield. In addition to videos, I also post to the community tab for this channel on a daily basis. If you subscribe, you'll see these posts in your YouTube feed. If you made it to this part of the video, please leave a comment with the word Annihilator. No, forget that. I can't spell Annihilator either. Just say Party Ship. Also, remember to ring the bell icon and select all notifications. Check out my other videos if you want to learn how to keep your ship by building it in the creation kit, or my thoughts on Starfield's 1-year anniversary. My name is Richard, and I will see you in the Starfield.